All right, we got Go for Broke. And I feel like this movie kind of runs under the radar. It's a really good movie. It stars Van Johnson. It's about a group of Asian Americans who fight during the war, and it tends to get really gritty and even a little lighthearted at times. But overall, I think it's a pretty good movie. Go for Broke. Of course, we have Band of Brothers, and it does have another season. I tend to watch it like every couple years. You have part one, then you have the Pacific, just really good. World War I, World War II. You have a lot of familiar faces, famous people, taking roles in this. And I think I read they wanted to do like another series on something, but that was like several years ago. So who knows? But really good TV series from HBO. Watch it every couple of years. Of course, we have Saving Private Ryan. I remember I saw it in the movie theater back when I was like, oh God, I think I was like 13, 14 years old. And it's a movie that just really stays with you from the opening sequence to the battle on the beach. And it does get very gritty, uh, a lot of gruesome war injuries, and just repeated shooting, fighting, trying to stay alive, and really good cast. And I watch it like every couple of years. And it has, Edward Burns, Matt Damon, Tom Sizemore. So really good cast. Really, I'm a big fan of this movie. And it really just blew me out of my seat when I was a teenager seeing it at the movies. All right, we have A Bridge Too Far. Come on, Andy. Out. And this is a really good movie. It's about soldiers trying to make it through the war. They set their sights on a bridge and they are trying to basically blow it up to try to deter the Nazis and the Germans and what have you. Good cast as well. And I think the movie's like almost 3 hours long, but honestly, it goes by really quick. And you do have this movie from different points of view. You have a family that is basically living in peril during this time. You have a young teenage kid who is basically trying to make it through this time. And of course, what happens to civilians during wartime. So very gritty, really good movie. Watch it every couple years, of course. All right, let's see. I got The Sea Wolves, and this has a really good cast as well. Gregory Peck, David Niven, Roger Moore. It's a pretty good movie. I like it a lot, but a lot of time is them on like little boats and what have you. They really want to basically take down a German ship and bases and what have you. So you do get to spend a lot of time with these characters, which is what I really liked about it. And I guess you could say it's like similar to other type of movies during that time. Although this isn't strictly like a wartime movie, it's more of them trying to sabotage and get information. And of course, they are putting their own lives on the line, trying to help save a lot of people during this era. So, really like it. And it does, in a way, kind of resemble like a spy movie because they try to go undercover, getting information and what have you, wooing beautiful women and basically sneaking into like these, German parties and what have you. Really good movie. Love it. All Quiet on the Western Front. This is a really good movie, and it takes place. Basically, you get to know like these young Germans before they enlist and what they go through during the wars and what have you. It was very gritty for its time, and I feel like it still packs a really good punch. And I did watch like I want to say 1979. It was like a TV movie, and then I guess they did do a semi-recent version of it. But I always really liked the original All Quiet on the Western Front. Just really good. It doesn't just come from the soldier's point of view. It shows, kids basically in high school and how they basically get encouraged to join the war effort and what have you. So it's just a really good movie from the Germans' point of view and what civilians and soldiers basically gave up to fight in the war and what have you. Let's see. We have Battle Cry, Battle of the Bulge. Battle Cry is a bit of a different movie. It shows like this group of young guys going through training and eventually going to war, but it doesn't really focus a lot on, the war action. It's more about them as people basically signing up, and one of the main characters like starts a relationship with a lady and what have you. Battle of the Bulge, of course, it is not a 100% accurate movie, but I just love it so much. It's got Henry Fonda, Robert Shaw, Robert Ryan, and it does get very gritty, a lot of time between the tank battles and, the rounding up of certain soldiers and basically trying to execute them. And watch it every couple of years as well. Battle of the Bulge, I just really love it. It's a pretty long movie. I want to say it's like almost 3 hours long. And, like I said before, even though it's not 100% accurate, I still love it for what it is. So, 2 good movies. Catch it if you can. They might be on streaming. They might be on Turner Classic Movies. And we got The Deer Hunter. It's about guys they work in the factories and what have you, and you spend a lot of times with these main characters, and I feel like it kind of goes on a bit too long. You basically see them at a wedding celebration. You basically see it from them getting married to them dancing, and I feel like it just goes on a bit too long, but you are rewarded with a final act, and I'm probably going to get some not so nice comments on this. I don't feel like we needed to watch them go through a wedding rehearsal dinner, going through it, dancing and what have you, drinking. But I guess, it could be argued, it's character development for when they get to Vietnam. So pretty much a different take. It's almost lighthearted at first, before they go to war, and you see what it does to the characters and what they have to go through trying to survive this time in war. So obviously a very intense movie once they get to Vietnam, and of course the final last act. So definitely I like it. I mean, I bought the DVD, but I feel like they could have cut that part out with them going to the wedding. It really doesn't lose anything. It cuts down like 90 minutes of the movie. Just feels like they were afraid to cut stuff out. So I like it. Not a fan of the wedding scenes, but what have you. we have Bataan and Back to Bataan. So, a very gritty movie. John Wayne is in part two, basically. And, black and white movies, really like it. It gives a kind of like an eerie point of view to these movies. It does have a creepy, especially the final act of part one. And I'm a big fan of part one and part two. They may be on streaming. I'm not sure though. So I tend to watch them every couple of years. And it came on, a double DVD of war movies. Really like it a lot. And speaking of another war movie, it's Reunion in France with John Wayne and Joan Crawford, Philip Doran. Basically, Joan Crawford is basically just a civilian. She ends up kind of like in a love story with John Wayne, who's a soldier, and she basically gets involved with the resistance, the underground, and basically you see it from different points of view, how the war with occupation of the Germans in France and what have you, and just what the regular people, how it affects them, occupation, what have you. And I guess you could say, it's not the best photography, you do have some lighthearted parts here and there. And Joan Crawford is basically trying to keep her job as, different places are bombed during the movie. And she does basically give herself to the cause of the underground. But really love this movie. And really just liked, the characters basically putting themselves out there, even they know they could be hurt or worse, arrested, thrown in jail, and tortured. But really good movie. Love this one. So I'm going to wrap this up. I think I'm going to do a part two, maybe a part three. So catch me on the different ones. I'm going to wrap this up now. Hope you guys enjoyed this part. So I'm going to see what other ones I can do, and we'll see what's what in the next one.